to another episode of the Stogie Review video review. As usual, I'm Walt, and here for another weekly review. But before I get started, I just want to give you a little heads up. I've got a little bit of a thunderstorm rolling through, so if you hear loud banging, or not so much banging, but you hear thunder, and you know what it is. I may stop talking until it kind of goes away, just so you can hear me and stuff like that. But I got the window open. I don't have much choice. Got to get this video done now so that it can be up for you tomorrow and Friday. So anyway, moving right along. The cigar today is one that was sent to me a few weeks ago. Actually, I got one. I got several. I got one of these. Everyone from Stogie Review got one of these, and these came compliments of our friend Jeremy from Cigar Corner, and that's cigar-corner.blogspot.com. And this cigar is the famous Dominican Selection 2000. It's the Lonsdale size. It's a 43 by 7. It's got a natural light wrapper. It's looking like they're calling it a mild cigar. They come in bundles of 20 for $37.95. So this will officially be a value cigar. So without further ado, let's get started. And I had mentioned to you before, now that I'm using these scissors quite often, I typically have to wet the cap of the cigar. And what I'm actually doing is just wetting my lips and then kind of rolling the cigar over my top lip just to moisten it. I don't want to get it too wet. And the whole idea here is just to soften the cap just a little bit so that when I cut it, it doesn't kind of tear apart. It's I guess it makes it a little more malleable so that you really don't damage the cap when you cut it. It's got a very mild aroma. The wrapper looks very good, especially for a bundled cigar. I mean, there's not a whole lot of veins, and the few veins that are running throughout the cigar are very small. It's a very smooth wrapper. The cap looks to be constructed, pretty well. Overall, I mean, it's an impressive-looking cigar for something you would think of as a bundle cigar. And I know that's they really shouldn't be thinking that way, because there are some fantastic bundle cigars, for very good prices, especially in this price range. For $40 a bundle, you can get very, very good cigars. But then again, you can also get the garbage for $40 a bundle. So anyway. One of these days I'll actually show you how I'm using the scissors, but for the time being, I'm just going to have to continue doing what I'm doing. The pre-light draw is very mild. It's got like a natural sweetness to it. It's actually kind of nice. It's very, very free. It's a little concerning. I think it might be a little too loose for me, but for right now, I'll just deal with it and move right along. And to my surprise, I actually got some comments. People are still enjoying the lighting process, so I'm going to continue to do so until the consensus changes. So. And I'll be pairing this cigar with water tonight. Nothing else. See, I've kind of been wanting to experiment a little bit with tea. So if anyone can make a good recommendation on some tea to try, I'd really appreciate it. I kind of want to get away from the supermarket stuff that's got herbal stuff mixed into it, all these weird flavors. I kind of like to get some just natural, really good tea. Even loose tea would actually be kind of cool. So anyway, I've got my cigar lit. First puff ain't very good, but we're gonna plug along. I'll be back in just a second, and we'll get down to business. Welcome back, folks. I'm starting to get down into the first third of my famous Nicaraguan Dominican selection, the 2000, and it's performing really well. It's got a fairly even burn to it. It's off a little bit, but it's nothing to be concerned about. The ash appears to be fairly firm. I haven't tried to knock it off yet. The ash is light in color. It's it's very consistent. It's not like there aren't any loose spots or any kind of flowering going on. It's very tight, and it looks like a quality ash. The resting smoke is very light. The room aroma is very, very mild. I really can't even detect it in the room. Now, I do have some ventilation going on, but I can typically start to smell the cigar. But this one, I really can't smell it in the air. Yeah. It produces a lot of smoke, and it's very nice. The smoke is very thick. It's it's very easy on the palate. The body it's about mild to medium. It's pretty low on the body scale as far as I'm concerned. But the flavor is where it's losing me. Right now, it's doing very well construction wise as far as it's smoking, but the flavor is just not me, not at all. It's dry. I can just feel. I feel dried out after each puff. It's sort of. It's got like a nutty flavor to it, but the thing that I can't take about it is it packs like a harsh punch after each puff that it just. It just doesn't agree with me. I really don't care for it. It's not in the finish either. It's sort of completely different. It's just like once you expel the smoke, you get this dry feeling, and then you just kind of get hit with a harshness. But aside from that, the cigar's doing very well. I can't stress that enough. Even though I'm not digging the flavor, the cigar's smoking very well. So I'm gonna press on and keep on going, and just see how things turn out. But anyway, I'm going to take another break, and I will be back in just a second, and we'll see how the second and third turns out. Well, welcome back, folks. I'm plugging along. I'm in the second third of the cigar now, and I think it's worth noting that I've only ashed the cigar one time. The ash was pretty long for a cigar of this ring gauge. I'm still just really impressed by the quality of the construction of this cigar. It's certainly a very good cigar in terms of quality and construction. It's still producing a lot of smoke, and again, just like before, it's very easy to get it through your sinuses, easy to blow big smoke rings. And it's a type that when it gets in the air, it just kind of lingers and hangs there. But the room aroma is not bad at all. It's very, very mild. I can hardly detect it, but it's certainly has its place sometimes. Now the burn is still very good. It's nice and slow. It's even. The burn line itself is getting a little thicker. What would be considered the mascara of the cigar. It's getting a little wider, but it's it doesn't seem to be causing any kind of problems. And I'm sure it's not affecting the taste at all. The body's still mild to medium. The finish is still a little dry, but it's certainly getting better, and it's not so pungent anymore to me. It's and that's probably due to just my personal tastes. I don't like a dry cigar, and when you take a dry cigar and you pair it with like a flavor that's sort of nutty or like a woody flavor, it's just a combination that comes off very harsh to me. Maybe it's just a flavor combination that's very sensitive or that my palate is very sensitive to, and it just comes up and it throws a red flag. It's like harsh. Don't like it. But it's getting better. It's the dryness is starting to fade. It's like very, very mildly creamy. I mean, it's a stretch to call it mildly creamy, but it's certainly not as dry as it was. It is getting better. I'm starting to get like a salty flavor, or not so much like a salty flavor, but more like a salty sensation. It's just starting to make me salivate a little bit. It's kind of nice. It's getting away from the dryness. Even though I'm salivating, I'm still a little parched, but it's not as bad as it was. So things are getting better. So hopefully they continue to get better and better. But this cigar is one that I'd maybe consider if I were to smoke another one. Not to say that I'm not going to smoke another one, but if I were to smoke another one in the future, I probably wouldn't smoke this cigar on water. I wouldn't drink a bottle of water with the cigar. I would try to pair it with something. It's sort of reminiscent of the 5 Vegas Gold I had a while back, in that it's a sort of similar flavor profile, but not quite. I don't know. For some reason, I just think of the 5 Vegas Gold when I have the cigar. So I think maybe the cigar would be a little better with maybe a coffee or like a green tea or something like that. Something hot. I think it would make the cigar much better. And it actually reminds me of a cigar I had just last weekend, which is, I'm not going to tell you what the cigar was, but I had this cigar during my niece's 2-year birthday party. I decided to have a cigar with my father, and I had one just before this. Didn't like it at all. Big name brand cigar. A lot of people love it. There's a cult following behind this cigar. I didn't like it, and it's not like it's a very inexpensive cigar either. I thought, I'll treat myself, and I had this cigar, and I didn't like it. And I thought maybe I just got a bad stick. I'm hanging out at a party, in my niece's party, and maybe we're all outside, so I'll have a cigar. And I grabbed this cigar again, thinking that maybe I got a bad one. This one will be better. And again, first parts of the cigar, didn't like it, not even a little bit. So I thought, well, what can I pair it with? So I had this stout in the refrigerator that I bought a while back, and I had the stout with this Maduro, and it was fantastic. It's really, really good combination. Really liked it. I'm actually looking forward to smoking the next cigar as long as I can have it with a stout. If I have to drink it with water, I'm just not going to enjoy it. So. And this cigar kind of makes me think of that situation where, it probably wouldn't care for it again later on, but if I had something to pair it with, maybe it would be so much better. But anyway, I'm jumping way ahead. I'm only in the second third here, and here I am doing an overview or a wrap up. So anyway, I'm going to take a break. I will be back to do the final third, and who knows, maybe I'll finish the wrap up that I just started. So anyway, I'll see you in just a second. Well, welcome back, folks, for the final third and wrap-up of the cigar. And, that cigar is the famous Dominican 2000. And so far, I'm impressed by the quality of the cigar. It's got a nice burn line, even burn, produces lots of smoke, and it's got a fairly short finish. But for my tastes, I really didn't enjoy it too much. I think that if I were to smoke more in the future, I would definitely have to find some kind of drink combination or drink pairing to make it worthwhile. It just doesn't do it for me, and it's a really weird feeling. The dryness of the cigar has got me I feel all dried out in my throat, all back of my mouth, and my throat just feels like dry, parched. And the salty sensation that the cigar puts off has got the front of my mouth kind of watering a little bit. So, I've got some saliva going on in the front of my mouth. And I've got this dry feeling going on in my throat. And it's just a really odd sensation. It's not something that I'm accustomed to. And you would think, well, just swallow, and that'll fix the problem. But it doesn't seem to help. And even sipping on water just kind of solves the problem for a few minutes. As soon as you take another puff, you're right back into this kind of strange sensation again. And maybe it's just something weird that's going on with me, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. Now, I don't remember where I said it, but I remember talking about my cigar scissors, and I don't know whether I was telling you, the viewing audience, through the camera, or if I was talking to Dale or I was talking to Jerry about how these cigar scissors are really taking a very little bit off the cap of the cigar, and sometimes you really don't get all the way through the cap, and you really don't notice it. Well, that happened to me today actually, because the cap was actually really nice on the cigar. It seemed kind of thick, and when I opened up the cap, I got a nice free draw, and everything seemed okay. And after I smoked it a little bit, I got some peeling. Now the peeling is actually what's left of the cap, what I didn't kind of disturb. Well, I guess smoking it peeled the cap back and exposed more filler, and I don't know if you can see it there. But that's actually a cap. I didn't completely cut through it with the scissors. And I would just pull it off or cut it, but the draw is kind of free even with that on there. So I'm going to leave it on there. And the only reason I bring it up is just something to look, just to keep an eye on if you do decide to switch to cigar scissors, or if you do use cigar scissors. On occasion something like that happens, and it's just, I don't know. I guess it's kind of neat that you can cut such a little bit off the cap and still get a good draw, and at the same time, you're leaving quite a bit left. But anyway, it's not really, and I'm not digging the cigar too much, so I'm going to wrap this up and put the cigar down in the ashtray to just let it go out. But overall, I think it's a good quality cigar, and if the flavor descriptions that I gave you, if they sound appealing, and you do decide to give them a shot, I don't think you'll be disappointed by the quality of cigar that you receive. And that's one thing that I want to stress. Even though I really don't like the flavors of the cigar, the construction was impressive. It was it was nice to see a value line cigar, a cigar that's kind of inexpensive at $38 a bundle, be of decent quality. But anyway, that about does it for this episode of Study